Hey, welcome to Creation Station Weekly. I'm Bob from Creation Station. This is our weekly show where we talk about two or three cool tech topics, something creative with somebody from the library system, and we get you back on your way with hopefully something fun and interesting. Today we have Miss Paula Schaefers from the Sunrise Library. How are you doing, Miss Paula?
I'm doing okay, Bob. How are you?
Life is pretty good right now. I'm feeling like it's been not quite as freezing cold as it might have been, but it's way too cold for me. I'm moving south one of these days.
No, this is nice. You're moving south.
Ah,
More
I'm moving
south.
south. More south than Fort Lauderdale. Okay. We got a fun full show today. Paula found some really cool stories, and it inspired me to go bring a story that I was going to do next week and make it do this week. So I'm just going to jump right in here right now and start sharing up on my Google Chrome here for you. And the very first thing is next week, actually on the 25th, is the 100-year anniversary of the word robot. Um, I know it's really cool. It's really fun. So anyone who didn't know this or just thought this word came from just wherever, it's there was a really great story in the Guardian earlier this week about this. It was a Czech playwright who who coined the term, and the word actually comes off of roboti, or roboti is, I guess, is the more proper Czech pronunciation. It's the word for serf or forced labor. So all the way from the very beginning, this word has always meant somebody laboring for us. When's the first time you thought about robots, Paula?
Oh my gosh. Um, I don't know. The first time I thought about robots was probably, remember those the little robot toys, the Furbies with like
Mm-hmm.
the moving eyes and you could teach them tricks. That was
Yeah.
like the first real, I don't know, like, oh, this might really become part of our lives.
Yeah, that's an interesting thing. Mine goes back a bit longer. I grew up in Detroit in the auto and family in the auto industry, so I
Right.
knew like when they were bringing robots onto the assembly lines and things like that. Um, so it's
Yeah,
one of those interesting things.
I don't
Thought
think
about
I
it
ever
that
really
way.
thought of assembly lines as robots when I was a kid. So the
Yeah,
first time I really thought about like robots in my life was like toys. So
yeah. And I think that that's one of those things that we've done. I mean, nowadays we all take it for granted. I mean, we've got Roombas floating around our houses and zooming around and or whatever. By the way, for everyone, this was CES week, the Consumer Electronics Show week. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, they have been doing all the stuff virtually this year. Usually it's a big, huge show in Las Vegas. But obviously, in our current times, we're doing everything virtually. So there's a tremendous amount of stuff out there, which is why robots are really big in the news right now today. Um, I've got something that Miss Paula sent me here that I thought was a really fun story from that of robots that can build themselves and are built out of ice. Tell me what you found about this, Miss Paula.
this one was cool. It was so these two guys, Devin Carroll and Mark Yim from University of Pennsylvania, they were working with I think Devin was actually working, or Mr. Carroll was working with ecologists in forests, and the robots they were using were breaking down. And so it was sort of a what could we use from the environment? What found items could we use to sort of repair the robots? And so that's what sort of launched into this ice exploration. So
Yeah.
the robot themselves, like all the electronics are of course electronics, but then any parts. So maybe I need six wheels to roll over this terrain. Let me make my own six wheels and attach it to myself, sort of thinking. So that was sort of neat, like what robots could do to sort of repair themselves.
Yeah, and it's really awesome to when as they use the example in the article about doing this, all over the solar system. There's lots of ice,
Mhm.
and so we go out to Europa or Titan or wherever, and we start really getting a chance. And if you can just build yourself a new wheel every time it breaks,
Right.
unlike what happens on Mars, which is the problem with Mars is that there is no ice there to be able to do something like this, and that's why those things keep wearing out. Although they have lasted an amazing amount of time. NASA did a great job on those rovers. But this is a really cool idea for this.
It would,
Um,
I don't know. In my head, this would make a really great cartoon.
oh, I can. Oh, yeah. No, okay, yeah. We'll get Pixar involved in that, huh? No, for
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
That's a pretty funny idea. Yeah. Can we imagine what that would look like for that?
Yeah,
Um,
I just want a little short of like, the robot getting, his wheel is broken. Oh no, I need to make a new wheel and put that on. Now I'm styling sort of thing.
ooh, now we're gonna add food coloring to the ice, and we're gonna be able to put.
Yeah.
Oh man, put racing stripes on our ice spot. That's pretty interesting. One of the robot stories that came out of CES and other things this week was fish.
Oh, these were cool. These were way cool.
Yeah. So these robotic fish, they're just little rechargeable fish. I'll show you. There's a diagram farther down that I'll put on here for you so you can see. It's got little bits of rechargeable things, and it's designed to look like a fish for a couple of reasons. One, to make it easier to move around, because fish are designed that way, have fins and tails and everything moving like that for a reason. It's a very fast, efficient way of moving around. And two, these can be scaled down really small so that they look just like the rest of the fish around them, like the big underwater cameras that typically you see now. They kind of look like torpedo tubes that have to go around. You've seen all
Right.
those and all the old Jacques
Yeah,
Cousteau
yeah,
type stuff. Yeah. But this part here is the one that really gets me going. Because this is the other thing that I talk about a lot is for artificial intelligence and how machine learning and all the things that go on with that. Each one of these is individual on their own, but then can work together as you pile more of them together. They find each other and start swimming like a school of fish.
yeah. That was really cool. That like whole underwater drone sort of idea. That was awesome.
And yeah, they've done this with drones before. In fact, if you've seen some of those really fancy fireworks shows um,
Right.
that aren't fireworks anymore, they're drones. That's a really cool thing. That's a different topic though. This one here is all self-automated where they can go do it on their own. So that if one of these little robotic fish finds another piece of whatever they're looking for, whether they're out searching for pollution or whether they're searching for other real live fish, not robotic fish, for them to be able to come up and get and do those things. So I think it's a really fun little story that way.
Yeah, I thought it was a neat way to be a little less intrusive to natural sea life and be able to get into places that we wouldn't ordinarily be able to visit without, disrupting the
Yeah.
whole system. So this one was really cool to me.
I mean, and that little 25 millimeters, this is nothing. These things are like super little tiny bits. Yeah, and they've got real fish eyes.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
It just blew me away on this one. It was just so much fun to see this. And this is where all those robot stories from like we talk about 100 years of robot stories now, and where we've come from big, huge, clunky metropolis kind of robots and the assembly line robots where, things that are obviously things that are not human at all. And then you get into Star Wars, Android kind of things. And we won't even get into Blade Runner.
Well, Blade Runner, yeah, it's just, I don't know, the whole concept of robots in art. I mean, it goes back to like
Yeah.
1400 BC. Like there was like an intelligent machine god. And so that's, I don't know, it's always been part of our lives. But the fact that we're now like building what we used to dream of is kind of
Yeah.
cool.
And I think that that's part of it is the ability for us to envision something and create it and do as really kind of transcended where the original of here's a slave laborer kind of thing goes.
Right.
Although your cool story thing to find, if anybody out there has not seen this,
This
Boston
is
Dynamics,
fun.
Boston Dynamics is a subdivision of Apple. I'm sorry, of Alphabet, which is Google and all sorts of other different companies that are underneath there. And they did a fun, coordinated story of robots. I'm just going to play the video. I'm not going to do any sound, so Paula can give us a commentary as it's going. And you can see how fun / scary / I don't know. What do we do about these robots nowadays?
The fact that this robot jumps is just incredible.
Yeah.
It's like I just want to hold up my 9.0. Like that's so awesome. It's just
I wonder how long it takes to program that in nowadays.
You know, all I want is for my Roomba to not get caught underneath my dining room chairs. And these robots are like doing backflips. It's so cool.
Yeah, I'd like my Roomba not to chew up my charging cables that are scattered on the floor. Yeah.
Yeah,
and you can see this video is just amazing for how nimble they can make these things nowadays.
Well, and their tops are so massive and they're just balancing on these little legs. It's unbelievable how they made this happen. But this little yellow dog that's here, he's been on my radar since they did Uptown Funk a couple of years. Was that just a year ago?
Yeah, I think it was like 12, 18 months ago. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a really fun video. And that was sort of like wow, this is wild. They've got this dog, but of course he's got 4 legs. Of course he can dance and balance and do his thing. But to do these animated, humanoid robots, that's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I know. I'm just letting this thing, I'm just letting it play. We're going a little long this week, but we're just letting this play for everybody to have a smile this week. We all need a little bit of a stress relief, and this is kind of fun out there.
These moves, it's wild. Just wild.
It is just hilarious out there.
The song choice here was primo, because this was, now it's escaped me. What was this one? This was mashed potato song.
Yes.
But the name of the song.
Yep. And then 2 years ago was for Uptown Funk. See, you were very good on that one. You remember these things.
I remember the Uptown Funk because that, all over my social media, it was just popping up everywhere. And I was like, the yellow dog. I've got to watch the yellow dog.
Yes.
That's really fun.
And they're actually teaching them now so they can stand back up when somebody knocks them over on their own now.
Unbelievable.
They're learning. They're doing.
All they need is a block of ice to, repair the leg.
See, and we tie it all in together, folks. See, isn't that a great thing? So thank you, Miss Paula. I wanted to share our one cool story, cool library thing that we always do. And
you're frozen.
Yep. And so now that summer learning this year. Yep. Yeah. Summer learning this year is called Tales and Tales. So if you don't know, every year the library system puts out a summer learning program for adults and kids. And this year, just the theme is Tales and Tales. And Miss Paula, you have a great thing that you guys are doing out there at the Sunrise Library all about this. I was really, let me bring this one up for you and show people. Tell us about this. Tell us while I'm bringing this picture up for them.
Okay. So there's libraries across the country that are doing these story walks, and we wanted to do one also. So the Friends group actually helped us fund these signs, the little realtor signs that you see in front of you there. And our teen group, not knowing that the summer learning program was going to be called Tales and Tales, they did sort of like a naming brainstorm, and they came up with the Tail Trail. So it was just happy coincidence there. This is our second story. I know, it's kind of fun. This last month we did Do Like a Duck Does. So we had lots of story. We had a story about ducks, and there's lots of ducks around the pond.
And this is going around the lake out there by the library, right?
Right. There's a pond right next door, and it's about a 1/4 mile walk around from start to finish. It's all paved. It's easily accessible for all abilities. And so what we do is we take apart. And so here's our book. and it has no pages. So we took all of the pages out of a copy of the book and we put it around the pond. So you can walk
That
with
is
your
awesome.
family and read this book. And we have these prompts at the bottom, literacy prompts. So like this one is blip rhymes with flip. What else rhymes with blip? Every page has something fun, something interactive. And when you're all done, you can come into the library and pick up an activity kit to take home. So it all sort of ties in together.
Yeah. And that's really helpful for families and everybody to be able to keep learning, keep doing your stuff. And you guys have, I'm guessing now that I'm going to put you on the spot, you got 2 or 3 more of these planned? How often do you change them out?
We have them, we leave them up for 4 weekends. So it's about 3.5 weeks.
Okay.
Then we have them planned out through the end of May. We're a little hesitant to put things up over the summer because, hurricane season, strong wind, strong rain. We're going to kind of see how this goes. So we have stories planned out until May. That may change, but for now we're doing one story. It stays up for 4 weekends and then we switch it out. So.
That's cool. That's a really great thing. Thank you very much for that. I do want to thank Ms. Paula here for being out here at Sunrise. That is awesome. It's great. Thank you very much for being here, Ms. Paula, with us today. So everybody remember that the remember for Creation Station here, that you can always email us at creationstation@broward.org. If you have any questions, problems, ideas, suggestions for us, or you just want to feature your favorite librarian or your favorite library, send us an email and we'll get them on the show. Thank you all very much. We'll see you next week.